Hey, I'm Lexi.
And I'm Jerry.
And we're the Fix Studio. Today, we're going to be getting our flip fix.
Yes, we will be flipping a basic lamp into a Cathrineholm inspired lamp for my kitchen. I recently got this lamp at a thrift store on our recent trip to Cleveland, Ohio.
We'll link that below.
Yes.
Jerry did some research on Cathrineholm, and I love this because I thought that was a person.
It is not.
A person named Cathrineholm.
There's no E.
No, it is totally just a company.
Mm-hmm.
They are Norwegian. It was an enamelware company from the 50s and 60s. It's very iconic. As soon as you said you were going to do a flip on this lamp, this is literally what came into my mind, which is one, a tell about how iconic this company and design is, but also just a tell on how much I know you and how similar our tastes are, honestly. Yes. But yeah, I'm glad that I learned that it's not a woman named Cathrineholm who does lovely little petals.
Yes, it is one word, Cathrineholm, and the design I'll be replicating is the Lotus design.
It is definitely their most well-known design,
yes.
So that makes sense.
Yes, so let's get our flip fix. First, flip the lamp over and remove the felt on the bottom. Set the felt aside to reapply at the end.
To protect the cord, gather the cord into a plastic bag and tape it shut with painter's tape. You'll also want to tape any remaining cord that's outside of the bag, the light socket, and the metal rod. Basically, anything you don't want to get paint on, go ahead and tape.
To prep the surface for painting, lightly sand the lamp body with 150 grit sandpaper. This will remove any finish and slightly scuff the surface to give the paint something to stick to. After sanding, wipe the surface down with a clean cloth to remove any leftover dust.
Good call. I would have forgotten that. Yes. Next, you're going to want to prime the surface using a multi-surface primer.
Because this lamp is small and I wanted to minimize brush strokes, I used one of my artist brushes to apply the primer.
Apply 2 thin coats of the primer, sanding with a finer 220 grit sandpaper in between those coats. The sanding will also help to minimize those brush strokes. After the final coat of primer is dry, it's time to paint.
To make sure the lamp doesn't stick to the table while painting, elevate it slightly off the table. I use a small bowl, but you can use anything you don't mind getting paint on, like a roll of tape or another can of paint. Just make sure it's slightly smaller than the lamp base.
Jerry used a white semi-gloss house paint because she happened to have it on hand. You could use really any white paint for this step. She ended up doing 3 coats of the white paint, sanding with that 220 grit sandpaper again between each coat.
While you wait for the final coat of white paint to dry, you can go ahead and get started on the paper petal templates.
So how actually do you figure out, the measurements for those petals?
I knew I wanted 5 petals on my lamp. So I started by measuring the widest part of the lamp base with a flexible tape measure like you would use for sewing. I got that length, and then I subtracted a couple of inches to leave room for space between the petals. With that, I divided by 5, and that gave me the width of my 5 petals. Cut out 5 petal shapes and draw a thin space down the middle of each petal. The Cathrineholm Lotus design has a line running down the middle of the petals, so we will be cutting out the space we drew. I cut these spaces with an Exacto knife and ruler, but you could also use scissors. These paper templates will be used to space the petals on the lamp and create petals out of painter's tape.
After cutting the middle space, tape the two sides together, leaving a gap in between them. The tape will hold the petal sides together while placing them on the lamp.
To place the paper petal templates to the lamp, place the painter's tape on the back of each petal, and then start placing the petals with the front one.
Then place the remaining petals around the lamp, and you might have to adjust them as you go.
Once you get the spacing that you like, cut a long piece of wide painter's tape and stick it to your cutting mat. Then remove 1/2 of one petal and trace it onto the tape.
Next, cut the petal. Jerry used an Exacto knife to cut the petal shape out, but you could always use scissors. Then, stick the petal half onto the lamp.
Continue this process until all the paper petals are replaced with tape petals.
Before adding the black paint, you'll first need to seal the tape edges with white paint. This will ensure a crispy, clean white line when the tape is peeled off.
When I was thinking about this project, I wanted the lamp to have a little bit of texture on it. I had seen this baking soda paint on Lamp Cry DIY. I thought it was cool and I thought it might work well for this project.
Awesome. The technique that they use, the baking soda paint, ends up having a matte, almost terracotta texture to it. So I feel like it really lends itself to this project.
I used black acrylic paint, but you could also use house paint or whatever you have on hand. First, mix in a tablespoon of baking soda and check the consistency. You can add as much as you like to get the thickness and texture you want.
There's really no wrong answer here. Jerry wanted hers to be a little bit thicker, so she added more, but literally just check on the consistency and do what you like.
Now it's finally time to paint the lamp black. I was careful to keep the brush strokes going in the same direction, up and down on the sides, because I wanted the texture to look more intentional.
After letting the first coat of black dry, you can kind of check whether you feel like the texture is going the way you want it to go. If it's too textured, you could always use that same 220 grit sandpaper and slightly smooth it out, or do another layer if it's not quite textured enough.
After wiping the lamp down with a damp towel to remove the dust, I added the second and final coat of black paint. Once that's dry, it is time for the most satisfying part of this entire project.
Tape pulling! Oh, look how crisp those lines are. You want to remove the tape when the last coat is still slightly wet, but I'm going to be honest, that's not really a necessary. Jerry let it dry. It's fine. It worked out just fine. Before you remove the tape from the light socket and cord, you'll want to seal it with a clear sealer.
I'll have what I use listed in the description, but any clear sealer should work.
Always use sealers in a well-ventilated area.
I used an old box as a makeshift spray booth. I ended up doing 3 coats of sealer.
After sealing, it's time to remove the final tape.
Don't forget to reattach the felt on the bottom of the lamp.
Not only does this, of course, protect all of your precious surfaces, it gives the project such a polished, perfect finished look so that you can convince all of your friends that you're a professional lamp maker at this point.
Absolutely. I used hot glue to reattach mine, but any glue you have on hand should be good.
To finish it off, go ahead and add your light bulb and your lampshade.
I also used a white plastic pleated lampshade that I thrifted. I wanted to use this one because it is going into the kitchen and it'll be easy to wipe down.
What a spectacular upgrade to a totally boring and normal looking lamp.
Thank you.
That was today's Flip Fix.
Yes, subscribe and stay tuned for more crafting, thrifting, adventuring with the Fix Studio.
Woohoo! Bye.
Bye.